Hey and welcome back to Simple Happy Zen. We have a very special Q&A video today to celebrate reaching 10,000 subscribers. You guys asked me some very interesting questions and today I'll be answering them. I'll be answering them in no particular order, so feel free to skip ahead a little if that particular topic doesn't interest you as much, but be sure to stick around till the end of the video. Let's begin with the first. So, first question is from Amanda Sandlin. What is your favorite cooked meal? Wow, that's a tough one. I really like oven dishes and I like soups. I make a ton of soup. And I also really love pasta, but I try not to eat that too much. Next up is a question from Helen Slater. My question is, what things do you do to make yourself feel better when you're having a bad day? So, good question. I get mood swings quite easily actually, and I used to get really bummed out whenever I was having a bad day and I couldn't really accept it. And I've turned that around by just accepting what it is that I'm feeling at the moment, because I know that feelings have a very natural ebb and flow to them. Going for a walk in nature works wonders for me. Also, listening to my favorite music is like a magical cure. And doing yoga also works really well. I usually feel like a different person afterwards, or just meditating for a bit. Just taking some time alone and tend to myself, and usually that helps. So next question is from Caroline Brinkhuis. Let me know if you're Dutch, that sounds really Dutch. She asked me, do you drink alcohol? So I do drink alcohol. I can handle it quite well, especially considering the fact that I'm a highly sensitive person. But I hate hangovers. I think they're such a waste of time and I usually feel really bad the day after I drink too much. Alcohol tends to affect me a lot the day after. So I only drink occasionally and I usually have a 2 drinks max policy to avoid getting a hangover. And my favorite drink is an old-fashioned. I really like those. And beer, I don't really drink. It makes me very bloated. And wine makes me sleepy, so I don't drink wine that much either. Next one, Paula Stanislavski. Do you regret something that you have decluttered, material, or something else? So I have really thought about this one and I cannot come up with a single item that I regret getting rid of. So in other words, minimalism rocks. So this one's very interesting. Listen, Teresa Ray asked me, how to let go of friends that don't make you feel appreciated anymore without feeling bad about it and not being unkind? So that's a very interesting question. I actually have some personal experience with this. There have been people in my life that I couldn't have in my life anymore, and I was not happy being around them. I also could not be the friend that they needed me to be. So even though I still wished them well and I still cared about them, these relationships have ended. That said, it can be difficult to do this without any hurt feelings, because this can be kind of like a breakup and can be painful sometimes. And you know, I personally wish I had done certain things differently, explained things better, but in the end, we're all human and we all try our best. So I'd say just try to be respectful and honest and explain things and accept that life is, always changing and evolving, and this goes for our relationships with other people as well. Next up is a question from Anne Brandley. Are your plans real or fake? And discuss your reasons, please. So, fun question. My plants are real. I don't have any fake plants in my home. I used to have though, but I don't anymore for many years. I just love having living things in my home. They also purify the air, so you have to take care of them, but they also take care of you a little bit. And I just love looking at them, seeing that after I give them some water, they change, or there's a new leaf sprouting somewhere. So taking care of my plants has kind of become a very mindful habit for me. Let me ask you guys and be honest, have you ever given your plants a name? Share with me in the comments. Meralchi asked me which video that you made is your favorite. So that's kind of hard to say about yourself, it feels kind of weird. But I guess maybe the 15 things I don't buy video, simply because it has, by far the most views and most of you came to my channel through that video. So that's why I really love it. And I also really love my guided sleep meditation video, simply because the music in that video, I find it just to be really relaxing. Happy Little Accidents. Favorite dessert, short and sweet, anything chocolate basically. I actually just drink tea or decaf coffee as a dessert, but I do really enjoy having like a little break in my day at like 10, 11 a.m. or 3, 4 p.m. with a piece of chocolate and some tea, and kind of create a little, happy moment for myself. Next up, Esther Felina. What is the single best outcome or result minimalism has had on your life? So I guess out of the many positive, wonderful changes that it has had on my life, I'd say the best one is probably that I experience a lot more gratitude now. I used to think a lot about things that I didn't have, and now I'm just so grateful to even have things to discard in the first place, that I live in a safe place and that I have, clean water and food and everything, because these things are not that normal everywhere. So I feel very blessed in many ways, and this is a very, big source of happiness for me. Next up, Natalie Londono. I just want to know how to stay positive when we are surrounded by people who aren't. So that's a very good question. Being highly sensitive, other people's energies tend to affect me a lot, whether I want to or not, and I imagine it's the same with you. So when I'm around other people who are really negative, this affects me, whether I try to close myself off or not. So trying to stay true to my own feelings helps a little bit. So, recognizing that this is someone else's energy and not your own. And I also just try to shape my life in a way that I have the least amount of negativity around me as possible. So we have a very interesting one here by Yogas Manjani. When you die, which I don't want to be before you turn 100, what would you want the world to remember you for? An equality or a good deed? So I've thought about this. I don't believe that life and death are opposites, but more that death is a part of life in a way. And so, of course, I would want people to remember me fondly, but I guess most of all, I want, life to go on for them to feel happy. While I'm alive, I really like to help people, but there's nothing really specific that I want to leave behind after I'm gone, if that makes sense. Next up is a minimalism question from Jana Rolova. How do you deal with presents? Have people around you got used to your minimalism effort? So yes, they have. Usually when my birthday is coming up or when the holidays are coming up, people just ask me what I want, which is really nice. And I also talk about gift giving and minimalism in this video, so maybe you'd like to check that out as well. Next up, question from Cindy Termwende. What exercises do you do at home? So I do yoga almost every single day, and sometimes this very restorative, chill yoga with a little meditation, and sometimes it's more like a boot camp. Depends on my mood and how I'm feeling. And I also do high intensity interval trainings at home, which is very easy to do with just your own body weight, and you don't need to spend any money on gear or equipment. Next up, my friend the other Alice sent in a question. I was wondering if you've lived in America. The reason I ask is that you speak excellent English and have a very strong American accent. So thank you. I've actually never lived in America, but in the Netherlands, we don't dub the movies and the TV shows that we see here. So that's why most Dutch people speak really good English, because we see it on TV and on movies every single day from a very young age. And we hear American English, over and over again, which is why we speak good English as a whole. And I also like to read most of my books in English as well. Last question is also a minimalism question from Olivia Brandy. What are some areas in your life that you are not a minimalist? Has minimalism helped you keep a spending weakness from going out of control? So yes, definitely. I used to buy lots of clothes, shoes, purses, accessories, perfumes, makeup, all that stuff. And looking back on it now, I can't really understand it. It wasn't like I was getting into debt or anything, but I was spending a lot of money on it, and minimalism definitely helped me to put a stop to this spending. Is there an area in which you're not a minimalist? So I guess maybe books. I do have an e-reader and I got rid of my hard copy, so they don't clutter up my home anymore, but I do buy a lot of ebooks. And the reason for that is that the books that I'm interested in aren't really available in the libraries here. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please like the video and subscribe if you're new here. If you want more Q&A, then you can click here. And if you want a minimalism Q&A, then click here. I'll see you all again soon. Bye bye.